Thank you, Aditya. I think it was a humbling experience to listen. And I must say, preparing this presentation was also a humbling experience because I admire you. I mean, you talked about a lot of about me, but how you have done industry initiatives, bringing the industry together, one of its kind initiatives which you've done over a longer period of time with AIWMI, eQualify, and the stuff which you're doing is hats off to you. And I must say, you've not kept me away because it's a virtual platform. So, my daughters have gone to their drawing classes and also I just have to pull out an hour, max 45 minutes rather precisely, including Q&A to do this. And so, friends, what I'm going to do is that share the journey. And believe me, I must thank Aditya because he allowed me to reflect on the last 7 years journey, 7 to 8 years journey. And the presentation is just the outcome of my entire journey, how it's there. And I hope it benefits to you, gives you some access if you are a writer just about starting, or if you've written a book, how to take it forward. So let's get started. And I'm going to use some quotes. This has been now the quote which has inspired me quite a lot all throughout the book. And it said, if you want to learn something, read about it. If you want to understand something, write about it. And if you want to master something, teach about it. And I think this is, I don't know, embossed in my mind or subconscious mind. And I kept, this was one of the reasons that I felt I knew about sales. I read a lot of books about sales, but I wanted to understand deeper on the subject of sales. And therefore I said, this is time to step into and write. So this was, I must say this is one of the quotes which really made a big difference in there. And you will see that how this has helped me to teach and master. As we talk about the journey, you'll understand what I mean by this. So actually, in 2018, February, which he speaks about, 11th February 2018 was a book launch, and Aditya did come for the launch. This is the book we published, and great, proud about the whole journey. But let me go through why did I write that. Apart from that quote, one of the things which was, there's a deep down intent. And my intent to write the book was to really share my learnings, my experiences and mistakes with, all for more than 15 years. When do I say 15, 16 years? Because when I started, it was maybe 15, 18 years then. It was one of the traumatic accidents which I went through from a handicapped life to a normal life. I'll not go there. But that was one of the reasons that I wanted to share my journey of how difficult it was to be in a hospital for about 11 surgeries, getting up again and living a normal life. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to then write a book. And then when I met the publisher, I really told him that this is my inspiration. But what he told me is very beautiful. And when you meet the right set of people, when you reflect on your conversation, he told me, yes, but how that accident changed your life? What is it that accident made you a person out there? And I could really reflect, and I'll talk about that badge principle towards the end of the presentation, which will help you a lot there, which really helped me shape up the book. Because that accident, how I brought in sales life, you'll be able to bring it there. So I was procrastinating for a length of time about whether to do or not. When I said, I have this habit of creating goals every single year. And when I was sitting in December 15 and I Jan 2016, one of the things which came up popular, just popped up of all the list of things that this is the time to step up. And on Jan 2016 is when I put on social media that I want to write and publish my first book by December 2016. And I made it a public announcement so that, there's a pressure, there's accountability on me. Somebody will catch me and say that you made an announcement. Now, where is it going there? So that was in terms of how it started. But there's very clear. See, I'm a salesman by heart, and I don't feel ashamed to talk about a salesman. If you don't like the salesman concept, you've got to have a bent of sales, everything what you do in life. And it is the most important. And since it's a space of an author or a book, let me again get back to you. When I was even thinking about it, the first question came to my mind: how will my product or book get sold? And I'm like, where do I start? It was all journey, which publisher, what to do, so on and so forth. The second question which hit me was real, that who will buy my book and why? Who's Nimesh in this life, and why will anybody listen to Nimesh's journey? I mean, there are maybe a billion Nimeshes in the world who have intent to write a book or written a book, but I mean, why should I buy? And so this kind of reflection kept happening in my life, that why should anybody read my book? And therefore, it struck me that if you go back to the previous slide, it says, I want to share my experience, mistakes, and learning. And then what happened to me, what clicked me was that, and I'm very fortunate that I work with great people in the corporate world. I continue to work in the corporate world, but those CEOs influenced me. So that clicked me that why don't I capture the learnings of different CEOs, companies, business heads into the book, because they can become a great brand ambassador of my book, or that's how I can sell the book. Now, this is I think the changing point or the most turning point of my writing book was this, because I learned, but most importantly, this changed my life. And I explain to you furthermore about it there. So I actually want to write 30, 40 kind of CEOs there, but due to time paucity of the book and also the availability of CEOs and all. Now, what is going to go a little more detailed? And I wanted to always walk the talk. I didn't want to really capture a book. So what out of 26 CEOs, which is a part of this book, I think I knew only 9 people directly or indirectly. All the other 19 CEOs, which I didn't know. For example, I'll give you. I interviewed Roland Folger, which is a German company, a German CEO sitting out of Pune. And I didn't know nothing about him. I didn't even know it. Actually, I went to Google and searched who's the CEO of Mercedes, and I got to know Pune is their office, and that's why I searched it. I wrote an email to his EA, then they forwarded to marketing team, then I explained to marketing team, and then they gave me an interview after maybe 7-8 months time. But this journey was actually a journey of myself experiencing on the sales life. See, my book is about sales, and I thought there is none other better way than to experience myself. And while I am on the corporate world, and the people whom I work with, my promoters and my CEOs, they know all the 26 CEOs, if I can say, if not 26, 24 CEOs very well. And I could have just nudged my CEO, introduce kara do. I said, no, this is not the way to do. I never use my corporate email. I always use my personal email to write to them and say, I'm an upcoming book author. I want to write about you. I want to talk. And I just created a draft about what is it I want to capture about it there. I listed down the questions and I pushed them there. There were, this Amex CEO, HUL CEO, Sanjeev Mehta, I never knew. And today, I'm so proud that I can actually feel humbling to even tell that Sanjeev Mehta on a WhatsApp talks to me. I mean, I feel in this forum I can speak or not speak. It's a great human being, and the relationship to the book happens so much that I built such deep relationships with such people that today I'm able to do that. So this was, I think, and why I was telling a journey, because as an author, it's an important that what you write about it, you must walk the path. We cannot be talking theoretical out here. To me, it is just walk the talk, and therefore I did this. And now let me tell a further how it worked. The second thing I had very clear, I had a full-time corporate job, and I continue to be in a corporate, as Aditya mentioned. I'm a head of sales and products at ASK Investment Managers. So I was very clear that I want to focus on my core competence as writing. And so I outsourced everything else to the publisher. I kept working for 2 months, identifying which publisher, what to do, how to do across there. And I said, I don't have a time. I don't have the understanding to, get that, the ISIN logins and so on. I mean, not ISIN logins, a lot of book writing on the Amazon, tying up with the Kindles, tying up with the other partners, all of those, tying up with the printer and all. I said, you do it for me, and you want to charge money, you take whatever money you want. But I can only do is what writing is there. I can't really focus on doing that. Trust me, I don't know how many of you have, maybe you all are more confident in me, but given I was not very great in my school and college days, so I was always doubting myself that I can write. So I actually joined writing courses also. There are a lot of courses online I did. I joined Xavier's Institute of Management to figure out how can I write the book? How can I, put forward a book which can be interesting for the audience to do that. So all that effort happened here, that I will focus only on the writing piece. Everything else will be outsourced. I outsourced all that. The second thing which I was very clear was I was fortunate that I didn't wanted to earn any money from the book. And as many authors I met in life, they kept saying that there's no money in the book. Okay. And unfortunately, fortunately, I was very clear that I don't want to make a single money on them. So actually, my publisher and my friend said, this is a great opportunity. I said, what is a great opportunity? It to convert into a book selling opportunity. I said, what does that mean? And while, again, this like a reflection exercise we're doing there, I kept talking. And he said, why don't you make an announcement that proceeds of the book will go to the charity? I said, okay, I don't mind, because there's no intention. for me to take money back, because my intention was very clear, is to share my learning, mistakes, outcome, the journey with people very clearly. And if the people are ready to buy the book, let it go to charity. And it actually turned out to be a great opportunity, because people thought if you're buying a book, it actually goes to charity. So why not buy a book? That's how in terms of the journey started. Now, this is very clear, and each one of us needs to be, as Aditya mentioned, one has to really ask those questions which I asked. Why should people buy your book? And there has to be, like a car manufacturer, like a mobile manufacturer, they create a series of marketing or a pre-sales activity 1 month, 2 months, 3 months before. And what I did is very clearly, on before I started to sell on Amazon Kindle, I created a lot of unique differentiating points or something which I wanted to highlight, and kept doing that religiously for a month before the launch on a Kindle. And then, this is very important for all of you to know, requested all friends to repost the share in the group or network, and not shy to ask. See, one of the things I must give up is to, how can I ask my friend to do that? Will it be embarrassing to do it? I mean, as salesman, I don't worry about it. Worst case, what he'll say, no, but you got to go out and ask. And I was surprised that when people got to know that I'm doing a work of author or writing a book, people said, I think we'll stand up with you. Tell us whatever you want to do, that we'll do that. So fortunately, they had an MBA from Sydenham. My friends, some are in Accenture, some of them are in the banking industry, some are in the insurance industry. And what I told them is that I want you to post it on LinkedIn. I want to post it on Facebook. I want to post it on WhatsApp. And for religiously 1 month time, irrespective of what happens or not, I used to publish on a WhatsApp, social media, and then keep asking them to repost it further there. Second, I'm thankful to all the 26 CEOs who agreed. And book is a very, in a way, holy platform where you can use. And so I asked them, can I use your name in the creative, which I'm doing for pre-sales marketing, and tag you on the social media handles? And I was fortunate. I mean, some of them which I interviewed were not on social media, but all others, and maybe the foreign firms didn't allow me to do that. But most of them told that out of 26, 20 or 21 people said, go out and tag, because there's nothing harm in doing that. We have interviewed, we have done that. So let's do an effort. Now, you'll be surprised. I started to get invites from LinkedIn, invites from Africa, Asia, UK, etc. I'm like scratching my head. Like, how did this come into there? And then when I checked with Mutual Connection, it was, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, now he's ex-MD and CEO of HUL, but he was the one, because I tagged him. The entire Janta, I mean, I don't know how many people would be reading him. Few lakhs of people would be reading what Mr. Sanjeev Mehta would be posting, or when I tag him across there. So suddenly what I got is an opportunity to have people see what I wanted to tell them from their handles. This is what I'm going to give a live example. What did I do? So daily pre-sales for a book. So what does it say? I'm writing Mr. Sanjeev Mehta's photo. I approved to the Hindustan Unilever, and I created in term there, can you create a context of selling for the business leaders? And I used whatever he wrote, I just created one. So, this is very interesting, because, sales is there. I want to read for each one of you. I believe that every aspiring business leader should spend some time at least in sales. This is where the rubber hits the road. A good business leader is always a good salesman. That's why I said I'm a great salesman. This is what HUL leader says, CEO says. A good business leader is always a good salesman. This is his exact words. If he's not selling goods and services, he is selling strategies and ideas to the stakeholders or the board members out there. I created like this 30, 35 snippets, which I'm posting every single day before the book comes on the public domain, before the book in terms of out there, and tagged Sanjeev Mehta. So, people were like in awe of Sanjeev Mehta and awe of Samsonite CEO Jay Krishnan or Roland Fox or Mercedes and so on and so forth. It just helped me to really reach out to an audience which I couldn't believe it. And then what happened is there, one has to know that in this world, everybody looks for some offers, some kind of, like any car launch happens, what do? You will get ABC free, insurance free, this free, that free, something like that. And so therefore I said, I have to really implement this thing about creating exciting offers at book launch. So my publisher and I ran a sales campaign. And as my objective was not to earn any money out of it and do it, so he ran a sales campaign which said that buy sales after 30 days of release is doing there. And the campaign ran on Kindle or Amazon, which says you can buy the sales booster copy less than a price of a coffee. Okay, so they published to the entire Amazon customers. My book publisher published to this few lakh of customers. I published it across all the kind of by then 2018 means I had roughly about 17 years of experience out there. That networks of company I did that, and you will be surprised that this last line talks about people in my office accountants. I know I can. This struck me. A Vastu Shastra who had come to my house and he knew me well. He was in touch with me. He bought a book. My friend who runs a laundry company, he bought a book. I said, why did you buy a book? And everybody said that kya jata hai 63 rupees mein, nothing to there. I mean, we are just supporting you and want to pick up there. And it was just like a surprise to me that the book created so much of positivity among people that people just went out and supported. And for them, it was like, if I can just finish reading a book of, an interview of Sanjeev Mehta, also my book, it's worth 60 rupees there. Or they said, or a good friend accountant in my office said, अरे सर डोसा खाते हैं तो डोसा का तो 60-70 रुपए ऐसे ही लग जाते हैं, एक दिन डोसा नहीं खाया तो क्या फर्क पड़ेगा करके. I'm like, okay, great. And likewise, it ran for about 7 to 8, 10 days period of time. And I was myself surprised that people picking up from different parts of the countries and world, because for them that time, I think the dollar was about 72 or 73, which means there was a campaign for the global audience was there less than a price of $1, or experience of 20-year salesman writing his journey, and 26 CEOs available at less than a price of a Starbucks coffee or less than a price of $1. And that campaign ran across there, and I was like surprised that over that month it actually hit the bestseller. And I'm just, it's a very humbling experience. How that happened, I don't know. Therefore, the honest confession out there. In hindsight, this looks like a great marketing and sales strategy. Yes, marketing and sales, I did that, but I knew that it would be as successful as possible. The answer is clearly no. I just followed my heart, and I'm lucky that this strategy worked out absolutely beautifully. But I can, confess that when people says hard work and grabbing opportunity creates luck, I think it was just purely about luck, having a very clear clarity what I wanted to get out of the book, what I wanted to deliver from that, and it just worked. So one of the things which I want to share, this confession is there. See, you can't strategize everything. You have to get started somewhere, and when you get started, the flow will get you something. It'll give you some idea, some suggestion, some nudges. You read something, you pick up something. In that environment, it just kept working together, and it moved forward out there. And it's important, as I'm saying there. Now, this is where I create a book launch. Now, book launch also for me was to create some noise and positivity. I had to satisfy my inner dream, my happiness. So this is what this is I'm just sharing with you. And it says book launch gala and fundraiser. So the money was to be given to the fundraiser. And it's sure that time I had given for Lions Club. And, Aditya remembers I gave a check to them on that day for all the sales beforehand only. A lakh of rupees was given immediately for doing that. And what I did that is all the people who are interviewed, all the people who are respected out there in the industries, are 40, 50 people of the industry, I invited them. Some NIT head, some CEO of the IT head, broking head, insurance head, so on and so forth, everybody, and obviously the CEOs of my interview out there, because what I wanted to create is the kind of, right kind of positivity. And inside the intent was very clearly, if you go a little more detailed, apart from it was more about sharing my knowledge, it was sharing my journey. So what we actually did is had a panel discussion. I was fortunate that 9 CEOs out of 26 CEOs, some of them are not in Bombay, but they came across. And my idea was to put on the stage and get them to talk about, because if nothing works in the country than a testimonial or somebody talking about your book rather than you talking about your book, because it doesn't work. If I say my book is great, you say, take a walk. I mean, I don't believe it there. If somebody else talks and authority in the industry speaks about it, they're there. So not that they spoke about the book, but I created a panel discussion on that day. The panel discussion was very clear that I will take out all the learnings from them. And from the learnings, I think the audience will benefit from there, and they will become then the brand ambassadors for talking to the 3 or 5 people in their community that this is what they attended and did there. So I was fortunate. Some of the names I've spoken about it who were there. Sanjeev Nagan Gul, amazing guy. Johnson Johnson Pharma, Vishal Kapoor, IDFC Mutual Fund, KPMG, name it across the Spiker. People came across there, and we did that. I allowed them. This is the photo of how we did it. The whole idea was that the entire this panel spoke about their experiences in sales, leadership, and all. And therefore, whoever came that day was a takeaway or learning from them. Now, as I was on the journey, but let me confess, if you look at this date, it's actually talking of 4th March 2018. It can't be the date, but I actually took 2 years to actually publish it because it took a long time. With my full-time corporate world, it's difficult to do that right there. But over that 2 years' time, I started to get, and using what the topic of the subject of the conversation today is there, what does the book platform means? Book platform to me was an author. As an author, it's a responsibility. Responsibility to knowledge share, responsibility to share my experience on a CEO's experience, and responsibility to learn myself. I must say one thing about for myself, and I'm proud about it there, I'm still a student of sales and continue to keep learning, evolving. I keep reading a lot of sales books are there, which I recently bought an HBR on selling. And I'm just trying to read more and more to see how I can get better out there. So when you know that you have responsibility to share knowledge, you have to be a good student and continue to keep learning in your life. And that I did that. Now, I think I heard Aditya, I didn't hear, I tried to be in Siddharth and Ankita's presentation earlier, but how can you keep the book alive? Because I was very clear, after 15 days, everything will die. Now, and therefore, to keep alive the book long enough there, what I decided to do is share one learning from the book on WhatsApp and all social media handles every Sunday morning. One of the things I'm very proud about it, which Aditya acknowledged or spoke about it there, is there for the last 5.5 years. So January till today, 5.7, 5.8 years, I have done this religiously every single Sunday morning. No matter what happens there, I'm going to go out and talk and share about one thing. Then I'm going to share one live example to each one. What is that? So one has to have a creative, one has to have a photo. So this goes a lot of effort in creating. So this is recently I'm doing this. I picked up the last update which I sent about how customer experience new mantra and selling. And this is what the creative says: thank and acknowledge existing customers. And there's a note which says that unfortunately, when a prospect becomes a customer, most people leave to find in organization every interaction engagement with customer should care. So any note I'm just kind of read and try and give a nudge to everybody and keep my book alive. You'll be surprised because of this activity. Obviously, the book cannot be sold as much as it's publicly available, but a few book sales every week happen, depending on how much the content brings excitement or interest in the people. I get few books here and there from a lot of organizations. I mean, yesterday I was so proud. Last Sunday, a book went to Jammu, and I was scratching my head. Jammu, the book is going to Jammu. I'm like so proud about it there. The places like Jammu in the country, the book has been able to reach. And I think I must attribute to the discipline of doing this religiously every single day. Otherwise, people will forget who's Nimesh Mehta and who's Sales Booster and all of those things. One other thing which I did is to keep writing. I don't have the time now as much as doing that, but those point in time, because it was very live, I started to write articles and push it to wherever I could do it. So this was unfortunate in Feb 18, March 18, I think Feb or March 18 is when this book article got published in the London Business Journal. I actually appointed a PR agency, just to tell you how did this opportunity come into people with ask there. I appointed a PR opportunity, and again, not a very big one, someone who's aspiring to become there. So I appointed him. I don't remember, I can show you the charges which he charged there. And I said, create an opportunity where I can be talk about it in front of the media. And this is an article which got published in afternoon in 12th December 2018. So what he did that, he's created a lot of opportunity in a Hindi medium, in a Gujarati medium, in a Marathi medium, and English medium, wherever is there, where I could speak on a platform and talk about it there. And some of them actually published there. I'm not shown too many, but there are 6-7 articles which got published in 2018, just to make sure that people don't forget Sales Booster and Nimesh Mehta out of there. Now, in every year, as I told you, I made a goal. This is the goal which I made in 2020, which is to share again, same thing, learning, mistakes, success, failure with 10,000 people before December 20, such that it can help. Now, this is something I create and continue to have it every single year. And COVID happened. And I thought, oh my God, my target will not happen. But when you create goals, magic happens. And what happened is I had worked in Motilal Oswal firm, and Motilal Oswal being, everybody was locked at home because of COVID. They said, Nimesh, they reached out to me and said, Nimesh, we want to create for our 1,200 franchisee community and the sales team, sales masterclass, and we none other than you to do it. Now, my luck here is there. I worked 8 years with Motilal Oswal, so I had that background, and they gave me an opportunity. I ran this for every Thursday or every Friday. I don't remember. It was, I think, every Thursday or Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. I had to do that. As you can see, 4 to 6 p.m. was the time I did that. And that actually allowed me, if you go back to what I said, if you want to master something, teach about it. So opportunity got created for me, and I didn't charge a penny here every time. If they want to do contribute to charity, straight away doing that, buy the book and the money will go to charity. So that's very clear. So they felt furthermore good. People in franchisee, I remember a franchisee from Salem ordered some 7-8 books for his team members after the session got over. So the point I'm trying to highlight is not about what I did, is give you an idea of cue which you'll pick up from your journey ahead there, that how you can keep doing this when you will be able to get that opportunity out there. So this happened, and I must again, what I did that is to share my journey with MBA college lectures. This I don't charge anything, nothing here there. Xavier Institute of Management gave me, Sydenham Institute of Management gave me, NM College are there. And the idea was to share. This was not about the book, but because the book, they gave an opportunity, but they told me to talk on finance subject. So I talked on a finance subject, and one led to another. So the entire the batch of XIMB heard me. They spoke to some institute. The Pune guy told me that why don't you do it for us? And that that journey kept continuing even now. I must thank again Aditya, who created this wonderful idea. And as I said, he's one of the very innovative guys in ideation. He keeps doing this again and again, and he gave me an opportunity where he said, why don't you create first time ever a sales program which is only for BFSI sales? I said, great. Again, I did that in 2020. Let me try it across. And what he said is that we will again contribute to, at those point in time, to COVID and the kind of, if you can see here, we can contribute the money, and I use the money to give it to Tata Hospital was there, and one more Tata Hospital there. Yeah, I think this is Tata Hospital and PM Care Fund, which we decided to give the money out there. And this ran for 10 continuous days, 1 hour every single day from 6 to 7, to my knowledge, was there from 5th July. And I keep doing. Again, this allowed me to keep in the mind of the people what is there. Recently, just about last month, I did a PMS sales. I can't tell you, this was the MNC bank who invited me. And they said, why don't you do a sales masterclass? I was in Delhi. I spoke to about 400 other people, 200 in the morning, 200 in the evening. About 3-4 hours session each day, and the entire book journey which I narrated there. So this again allowed me, people again come back to me. The book, the MBA lecture allowed me, people are joining me on LinkedIn, people are inviting me on Facebook, people are, what do you call, is tagging me along, so on and so forth. There, I was, after the session got over, certainly on that night, I went in the room and I saw some 15, 17 social media connects, and I realized that these are people from the same organization I spoke about there. So this allowed to keep the book alive, keep the book exciting, and you must continue doing that. So here's where I'm summing up I'm just looking at the time as well. This is what I call I've written the book. And this is extremely important if you want to be successful in any area of life. But today, let's focus on an author or a book. I think badge is a principle I spoke about: belief, attitude, self-discipline, goal, and effectiveness to be able to be successful. Until and unless you bring all of these 5 elements into your subject matter of book, I don't think, and I'll give a live example to each one of you, my badge metrics. So when I decided to write book, I'm reflecting on it. Why did I not be able to do it? Because I never thought believe. I was, as I said, not a great student. So I didn't know whether I can write a book. So I always doubted myself. Second, I never created a goal, because this is, again, I've written a book. I dedicated 1 chapter on goal setting, writing across there. And when I wrote it down, when I experienced it and started to put that goal into place is when things started to action. And even this year, my goal is to get 10,000 people to share this thing. And again, e-qualify, and Aditya gave me an opportunity to speak to as many people out there. But it's a journey with sharing there. So check yourself after this session gets over. Check whether belief is there. Attitude, discipline. When I say discipline, is to first, with my corporate world, dedicate about 4 to 6 hours every Saturday, Sunday. 1 hour in the night on some of the days to write the book, my thoughts, ideas across there. I was always, attitude got created due to the accident, a very positive, risk-taking, never lose, or in that attitude was there. Goals which I created year on year, so that, I keep the book alive, and excitement doing there. Effective is nothing but execution. Now, am I executing again and again, or am I shying? Am I being hesitant to not do it? Every opportunity comes your way, you have to go out and execute. You become effective in your practice out there. So look at all of this and try and see where you are missing. In case you are missing, I think I find the ones colored in red was the one where I felt missing. Even discipline was missing, because I didn't know with the corporate world I can really spend that 4-6 hours. And therefore, I must thank ASK Investment Managers here, who allowed me to pursue my dreams, allow me to pursue this habit. And today I'm doing this. So today, when I'm talking about my book, it's a Saturday, so my work is not there. So I'm not compromising on work, but I'm continuing to do that. I can't be saying that, no, I don't have the time. whenever opportunity knocks the door, you have to go out and represent yourself, do as best as you can, and leave it for the result, because the results is not something in your control. So closing, this is one of my quote. If you picked up something from the conversation today, the success is not in the knowing. I'm sure there are, Aditya has set up to my knowledge, 5 authors out in the session today. Each one will give you something about it there, but it is not about in the knowing. Success is in the doing. So you have to execute, put that in the hard work on the ground. Don't procrastinate. That was there. And 2 proud moments as I close it. I'm seeing it's 40 and 11:45 is your start. 2 proud moments. I talked about the first one. I'm the only sales leader in the country who has published a book on sales while on full-time corporate job for sales. And some of you will understand, if you're in a corporate world, that it's not very easy being on sales, being on the road. But since my subject of topic was sales and writing book was sales, and I'm on a sales head, I could capture all my learning and put that into practice in the book out there. And I continue to do so, which is what I spoke about there. If you want to, it's ever continuing learning in the journey out there. And it's experience and sharing, which I did today. And I'm proud that I've contributed more than 15 lakh until now to the charity by using book as a platform. So that's where I will end here, and maybe happy to take a few questions if it's there. So we have some 5-7 minutes, and I don't late for the other colleagues, the authors who would like to speak there. So I'll just pull down the presentation because I can't see anybody right now here. Happy to take it up as you go.
Yeah, Disha, I can see your hand. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Aditya. Hi, Nimesh. Thank you so much. Such a session. I could resonate so much to it because I'm on my journey to create such similar book. My question specifically is, what is the right time when you can actually go and send these cold emails to 25 or 30 odd people whom you are planning to interview? Is it like I have the idea what I want and I know the people who I want to interview and I can just write those emails? Or I need to have much more concrete milestones achieved in my own mind or my action plan, and then it is the right time to go and seek their interview time. And so that's the question.
So let me use it while you're saying it, just struck me and in going by my book journey, the best time to write a book or best time to plant a tree was 2 decades back, and the second best time is today. And as I said, procrastination is one of the reasons that I could never do it there. So, I must tell you, the first interview, I faltered. I didn't know what exactly to do. So I used the people I knew as the first interview there. And during the interview, I realized that what I need to do. So I'll give a live example. I actually thought I'll write it down when I did a dummy interview, but I realized the conversation was fast and I couldn't pick up there. So what I did about a recorder then, and I took a permission there that I will not publish anything, but for my own reflection, writing it there, I'll record it there. So after the first interview, I bought a quick recorder of Sony, which I have it still, and the 30-45 minutes, 1 hour of conversation, I recorded. Then I came back home, reheard it and write it down. The giving example, because of that, you are not always perfect and you're not ready in life. You must get started. The basic construct, what should be there, that what you want to write, the topic you want to write, and what you want the leaders to give it to you. That clarity, if you have, how you want to get, how it move forward, you will never have clarity even after you interview 10 people out there. I must say, the first 10 interviews were good, but the next 10 interviews were super good. And the last 5 interviews were excellent there, because I exactly knew what to do, when to do, because my experience comes in there. So you have to just, jump in the pool, and you'll fumble initially. You will, falter here and there, but getting started is important, and then you will find your path. Because one thing I request you, since you asked a question, is come back and reflect. What happened? What did I do right? What could I have done better? And if you keep asking that 2 questions yourself, you will find out the next interview will do that. So never have a perfect moment, that this is the perfect moment to start across there. Just go out and do that, would be my request to you to start. I don't know, Disha, this answer the question?
Yes, thank you so much. And if I may have, I have 2 follow-up questions, very quick.
Please.
One.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, go ahead. If you have 5 minutes time, go ahead.
Yeah. So my first question is, in terms of when you went for the interview, so did you have like a fixed 10-15 questions in your mind, which you were planning to ask anyway to all the people, and then you might have curated few specific questions depending on
I had a standard questions.
Okay.
Sorry, jumping in between. I had some 7-8 questions which I want to do. So it was, questions like, how do you handle slump in sales? In the sense when sales don't happen. So that's one of the questions which is there. Okay. What do you reflect? How they? So those are some 6-7 questions I did. But depending on the industry, I just tweaked a bit here and there. How do you hire people in sales? What are the qualities you look across there? Some 7-8 questions I had in mind, and I'd written down, and even I'd send it across to them in advance. And remember, if they are senior leaders in the corporate world, I must tell you, your time matching, their time matching will take a long time. So I remember getting the MXCO. It took me about 7 months there because I had to obviously travel to Gurgaon to that interview, Delhi. So it took 7 months for the marketing to approve, the compliance to approve, so on and so forth. And therefore, I must say, you must get started. Have a big framework. In the email only, I said, I would like to have this question done, but we can mutually agree and if you want to edit some question, we can do that. So that flexibility was provided to in advance to each one of them. And then it was not that I only followed that, because when I asked questions, I realized that something came naturally. So it was a fluent conversation which happened. Remember one thing, I couldn't publish everything what they spoke. I gave them a guarantee that I will not publish until I take an approval from you. So I had an interview was for 1 hour. I published only 6 or 7 questions. So I send them the 7, 8 questions, 10 questions. This is what the question answers are there. Please approve. This is okay. So it's not everything published. So therefore, you don't know what actually will click. And you also had to find out that if I get the same answer from A leader versus a B leader, how is it different? Which one to pick up there, which one not to pick, which industry one to do that. So it will have a lot of effort to do once the interviews are done. Yeah. Right. Have a framework of question done, push it across, and then you'll keep evolving. Better
Right. And when you have an idea for the book, I'm sure you would have also felt that way. Like, there are other books which are already there in the market trying to capture a similar thing, maybe from different people, right? And then you feel that hesitation and the question that why will people still read my book? Because there are already let's say 10 books out there who are talking about learnings or confessions. So how do you still go ahead and say, no, I should do it?
I covered at the start one thing which is there. To me, probably I felt when I did my own research, I don't remember a sales book written by a corporate sales leader. Indian, first of all, Indian. See, I've had umpteen number of books. If I show you in a back, all the leaders, Sales Bible, all of them are all authors from the American or the US side there. I thought I had a good space and opportunity where there are some writers or authors of a sales book, an Indian there, but they're all trainers. They are all retired people out there and they have their own full-time work and therefore they're writing out there. To me, I found a great opportunity, which I said proudly out there, that I am one of the ones who's practicing day in and day out in a corporate world and bring it out there. So I thought that was a unique part. Second, I never read a sales book which had the CEOs of different businesses allowed in. I've read finance books where people are millionaires and millionaires have shared their habits of success out there. Actually, the millionaire habits, when I read the book, it struck to me that why can't have a sales book which captures the sales success like a millionaire habits are created out there. So what are the sales success habits out there? It is in my knowledge, when I 2016, 17, I didn't have any book which is there. Even if you search today, Indian author writing a sales book, corporate world, at least I don't know anybody who have done that. So I found it different out there. But it is a good question to ask yourself, who will read my book and for why? And therefore, you had to create and keep asking the questions and find answers and keep trying things which I showed you the entire journey, 5.7 years, what I keep doing there to keep the book alive and keep it exciting there.
Right. Final question, I promise, and then I hand it over to other people.
Sure.
In terms of your experience with the audience and the readers, what are people interested in reading more? Like the confessions, for example. Just I'm giving an example. Like I'm thinking working women, right? How they manage their work and then still reach the corporate ladder. Confessions of a working woman or learnings from their experiences. What resonates more with the audience?
Now, again, I don't know the topic of a book. I don't know what exactly you want to do there. But I would say the learnings would resonate quite well. It is, in my case, it worked there. So when I said that a Roland Folger of a Mercedes will tell how they build the Mercedes in the country, I think they were curious to know about those rather than trying to say what Nimesh or what anybody will do there, what confessions out there. I think thin line, but to me, from the two options I gave you, I'll choose the second option for now.
Okay.